name is Rick Miller. My wife Christy and I are gospel community leaders, and we love every second of it. Being able to live here as long as we have, I've been in Lebanon most of my life. Christy having been raised in Mount Juliet and part of Lebanon. Once again, the community is what has really caused us to be so strong and to be a part of the journey, because we feel vested and we feel invested with what it has meant to us. Having been a leader and the fruitfulness it's brought about, I think once again it comes back to when you do something for someone hoping you'll bless them, you get blessed more. And that's what's happened, I know, to me personally. I've watched how this group has grown. It seems like we meshed immediately. It was like we bonded so quickly, and I don't know if you want to say it's because we're older, but I think that had a lot to do with it, is that we all had a lot of commonalities, that we knew that we meshed well immediately, because we all were struggling with some of the very same things, or had struggled. So therefore we had people to lean on immediately, and that's what made it make the journey so special. Leading it has caused me to really reflect on myself, and I know Christy's the same way. You know, we've both talked about it a lot, how it's made us step back and reevaluate our spiritual lives. You know, being here on Sunday morning and then being able to have it as an extension of Sunday morning, because our groups meet on Sunday nights, it really helps to be able to tie that all together and get the feel of what the group felt, because sometimes it's really interesting watching how it made me feel versus how it made other members in our group feel, and then to be able to talk throughout the week, because we communicate quite often with one another through emails, text messages, phone calls, and I just know it's helped me grow tremendously, and it really showed me a lot of the flaws that I have, and it's caused me to really sit back and begin studying the Word more, and I'm so thankful for that part. How has Christ become bigger in my own life through the gospel community? I have realized what Christy, my wife's been telling me for years, is you have to step back and let God work. You know, He asked us to plant the seed. He would take care of the rest, and I've always relied on me to think that, well, God, I got this one, but I really don't. And Christy's been after me for years about that as a Christian, and with some of the things we've gone through, having that community group there has caused me to reflect on Christ more than I probably ever have. I'm 52, and it's taken me this long, and it's so interesting that we go to the journey, because that's what it is all about, is the journey as we continue to try to grow more and recognize Christ for what He is. How has it helped me to, as a mission, to be a part of what we do? Was the focal point. It's so interesting that was the focal point as we met for the very first time. We talked about the mission. What was it about? What do we need to do? What's it going to look like? Well, it took us almost a year to figure out and wait and be patient enough for things to happen, and we've been able to do things for others to really let them see that God's very alive. He's very active in our lives. He's active in Lebanon, Tennessee, and the Wilson County area. Watching these people, when I brought to the group back in December a situation, I couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough for them to say, we're doing it. That's just what we need to do. At that point, I knew that was a God moment, and I knew that was God working and going, as Eric shared with us just a week ago, divine opportunities. And it was so obvious that was a divine opportunity. Being able to speak to people and just invite them to church. That has been something that I have not really ever done. And to watch God work in people's lives who have come is just it makes my jaw drop, because it is an awe-inspiring thing when you watch him work in these people's lives, that all you did was simply ask them to come to church. And I think that's all he asked us to do. And I think the blessings we have got from that, what we've watched ourselves become as a mission group, it's given us more fire now to do more. Helping people understand about how to get involved with a community group and to overcome the fear of it, I get that. It is sort of nerve-wracking at first if you don't know a lot of the people. I think that's where we've made it pretty evident with our group. We try to scout out people in the service that we feel like probably could help fit in our group. I don't think, our group sometimes is more for an older group, even though we would take anyone. Sometimes a younger couple with children may need to be with other couples who have little children to sort of understand, once again, what they're going through and how they struggle with their Christianity as their children are growing. Where we can give the grandparents, view of it. I think it has been beneficial for us to really be more observant to who's here and really pay attention to who's visiting, who's all of a sudden we've noticed they've been coming for several, services, and try to get them into the group and not do it in a pushy way. Just say, hey, we meet, and this is what we do. We shared it with some people last week who had just joined our group and said, hey, if you can't come, it's not a judgmental thing. We realize that our lives are full and that there may be Sundays you can't come. That's okay. And I think sometimes people look at it as, well, if I don't go, I'm be looked down upon. That has to go away, and that's the group leader's job, in my opinion, to help make sure that that is never a concern. I remember coming to the journey and being in Eric's group, and he booted us out of the group after about a month. And I was like, okay, boy, I really made an impact. But I knew what he was doing, and I understood why he was doing it. He was ready for us to take off with a group. The thing he made it easy was that he had handpicked some people to be in our group, and to me that was a God thing, because he could have handpicked people that would never have meshed together. And the people we've had in our group and still have in our group, we love each other, and I think that's the commonality that's got to be in every group, is that you reach out to each other during the week, that it's not just every other Sunday night or every other Monday night. It has to be an ongoing thing, that you stay in touch and you make sure that your family is, that's what we call each other now, a family. And it is harder, if you don't have that communication going on, because it'll cause the flame just to stay at an ember. It won't be a flame. And you got to be real careful of that. And that's exactly what Satan wants to happen anyway.